We're going to cross over to Osaka now. We're being joined by the editor of the CorbettReport.com, James Corbett, to tell us a bit more about the situation in Syria. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Corbett. Now, I'd first like to pick up on the comments made by Hague at this press conference with John Kerry. He spoke about a new package of assistance being provided to insurgents in Syria. What do you think this new package is going to entail, and how is it going to be different from any previous aid that the Western governments have been giving to these insurgents?
Well, we don't really have any details on what this is going to involve yet, but we do have both Kerry and Hague stressing that this will be different in kind from what's gone before, in that it will likely come with some sort of assurances of some material support that's going to come out of this, not only in terms of monetary funding, but I think we're going to see a large price tag attached to this as well. And this is part of the negotiations that took place to get the Syrian opposition supposedly to come to this conference in Rome in the first place, because they were threatening to boycott because they didn't see any proposals of specific aid coming from the international community. So there's going to be some honey in this pot that will attract them to this conference, supposedly.
Indeed. Speaking of this conference, tell us a bit more about what you view is going to happen in this conference. Many are saying that we will see another new organization being put together by the U.S., one that is more controllable with regards to Syria, as Muaz al-Khatib has been started making his own demands and trying to get what he can from the U.S.
Yes, I think that there will be some negotiations on that front during this conference, and there may be some sort of more pliable to the international community proposal on the table for some sort of alliance that can be more thoroughly controlled. But I think regardless, I think the agenda is going to be basically the same, and it's only a question of how to implement that agenda. And I think the way that this process is going to function is by the type of hypocrisy that we've seen so much of in this entire Syrian conflict, where, for example, the Syrian foreign minister came out recently to say that that Syria is willing to talk to any opposition groups that are willing to talk to them. But now suddenly, Kerry and others are now saying that this is unacceptable, and for some reason that this is not going to happen. So I think this is all fundamentally based on that type of hypocrisy. So there's not much difference at this point between the international community and the opposition anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to draw up on that a bit more. How successful has the West been in implementing that agenda that you speak of with regards to Syria, that they want to continue with this path? Because they've been predicting the downfall of Bashar al-Assad's government for months now, and it hasn't happened.
It certainly hasn't happened yet, but at this point, especially with the increasing isolation of Syria and the fact that the idea of talks with the opposition seems to not even be on the table anymore, that we do seem to be entering into a type of endgame. And of course, the continuing attacks within Damascus itself is a sign of that, and those are the types of attacks that would have been unthinkable at the start of this crisis. So there has been some, I suppose, progress in that sense from the opposition side, and I think that they're just basically banking on the unmitigating support of the international community in this ongoing incursion, and I think that they think that the victory is pretty much assured from this point. It's only a matter of time. Okay,
we're going to have to wait and see how that pans out. That was the editor of CorbettReport.com, James Corbett, there joining us via Skype from Osaka. Mr. Corbett, it's always a pleasure having you here with us on Press TV.